You know what the great thing about toys are, Oswald? They never turn on you. They never go against you. They're always there for you. And that is something you can't get with everyone. Case in point. Well, it's time for me to go film a show.
You and I can hurt them.
Hello friends, welcome back to the show. So glad to see you once again. And if you're new here, thank you for joining us because we're stepping our way through each and every episode of Superman the Animated Series. And if that sounds like something you might be interested in, then please hit subscribe, hit the like button while you're down there because we've got plenty of episodes as we're just getting started. And we find ourselves in the second episode, well, the fourth episode, the second storyline where we introduce the Toyman.
Please tell him the Toyman is calling time out on his little games.
I've always enjoyed the Toyman, particularly because he just takes a kind of fun approach and just has a neat gimmick of taking toys and turning them against us. And he is in my favorite episode of Batman the Animated Series, Beware the Gray Ghost. Yes, it's a different Toyman, but still, premise is there, and so I always enjoy toys being used as weapons. No, that doesn't sound right. It's always fun just having toys to do your bidding. But before we get into all that, we're going to put a 60-second clock up on the screen. See if I can give you the complete summary of this episode in 60 seconds or less. We start off with a couple of thugs being in a deep chase with the cops, and they end up at a warehouse, and Toyman comes out and says, "Oh, I need to talk to your boss, Mannheim," and threatens them with a big bouncing ball. Batman, Superman on patrol, flies through, hears them, goes down, smashes the bouncing ball so that they get away, and Lois Lane is questioning Mannheim about this Toyman threatening, and if he has any ties with that. He goes, "Oh, this is crazy," and then they get attacked by a bunch of planes, and Superman discreetly, as Clark Kent, zaps them out of the sky, and they chase down Mannheim. Toyman confronts Mannheim and goes, "Hey, listen, this is the way it's going to be, and we're going to get you." And then Lois is captured by Princess Nighty Night, and then goes there, and Toyman goes, "I want you to tell the real story of what happened." And he's telling Lois about how his dad was a toy maker, and Mannheim lent him money, and then had him doing bad things for him, and he went to prison, and now the Toyman's son is now seeking revenge on Mannheim, and Batman swoops in, fights a giant duck somewhere in the story, and prevails smoothly. Now I'm on a roll.
Hey, it stopped. We're safe.
Before we jump into the action of this episode, I just have to say, and I know I'm not going to keep making comparisons of Superman to Batman, but I do really miss the title cards. I heard an interview with Bruce Timm, and I know that was a big thing that they enjoyed doing in Batman, but as the production schedule increased, and now they've got Superman, and at one point they were doing Superman and Batman at the same time and churning out some movies, the amount of work that they had to put into the title cards was just not practical. They even spoke very fondly of that, missing the title cards. But if you only watch Superman, you would never notice that they're missing. They just put the title up on the screen as they're panning the city or whatever that starts the episode. But having come from Batman, I just miss it. And that was always just a neat little classic stylistic kind of element to the episode. But what are you going to do? At least it has the episode. But I do enjoy in this episode that they start off with an action sequence. I always enjoy that, where we just kind of jump right into the action. You don't know exactly what's going on, but it kind of evolves and rolls itself out as you are going. And truly, that's one of the elements of this whole episode that I enjoy, is that there is a little bit more of a mystery. You don't know who Toyman is, you don't know why he's after Mannheim, and so that conflict of those two powers as they're trying to sort this all out is a fun element of that.
You haven't heard about the Toyman?
Who?
Nice try, Smallville, but this one's mine.
Another neat little nod here is in that car chase, one of the police officers is on the radio and he says,
We lost him at 3rd and Schuster.
Little nod to one of the creators of Superman, Joel Shuster, who is from Cleveland, Ohio, not far from my hometown.
Nice going.
We scored big time.
Now, obviously, since this is a lot of the same producers from Batman the Animated Series, they brought a lot of their same staff over. And Andrea Romano, the voice director, is the same for Superman. So you'll see a lot of similarities in the casting as they are picking the same people that they enjoyed working with or have a great voice. And one of those is the Toyman, is voiced by Bid Cort.
How does the saying go? Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble.
Who also voiced Josiah Wormwood from Cape and Cal Conspiracy.
If I might call your attention to the panel sliding open along the ceiling.
Fantastic actor and has a tremendous voice, especially for a villain in this kind of weird childlike character of the Toyman. So his performance is fantastic in this.
Playtime is over.
And as much as I liked him as Josiah Wormwood, we talked about in that episode, if you haven't seen that, you can click on it, that he's just kind of a knockoff of the Riddler. So he was sort of always going to be a one-off villain. In this, they kind of set the stage that he's the Toyman, which is a recurring villain in the Superman universe. So we get to hear his fantastic performance multiple times throughout the episodes.
Yeah, it's you, Winslow. Same creepy voice.
Now, in the last episode, we were talking about the music for the episode was really strong, very deliberate, and Michael did a great job of how to place the music and make it worth its while. However, in this one, I feel like they overuse that Superman theme, and perhaps, I don't know what the story is behind that. Maybe Michael wasn't available to work on this episode as much, or they were still finding their footing and how to design these episodes. So they just kind of used what they had, the library of music that they had. But it felt like every time that Superman flies, we hear that same theme over and over again. As I was talking about, this episode really has a great mystery to it, and it's really well laid out. It's that we don't know who Toyman is. They kind of jump into him doing his things. And again, I love the gimmick of being able to use these toys as weapons and threatening devices. I mean, we get to see Batman. I gotta stop doing that. I mean, we get to see Superman versus a giant duck.
Get out of here!
That battle alone makes this episode worth it. But all the toys that he gets to use throughout is a great gimmick, but also the way that they do the origins of the Toyman slightly in this episode. It's not that they just start with the story of his dad, the toy maker, who borrows some money from the mob in Mannheim, and things go off the rails. They start into him trying to bring down Mannheim, and then through a logical explanation of him explaining the story to Lois to print the true story, reveals the elements of his past and his origin. And I think by that time you're already hooked into the story rather than, okay, let's get on with the origin and get on with the rest of the episode. So I love that kind of aspect of it.
The bad man watched and laughed while the police locked the kindly toy maker in the dungeon forever. Clang.
But I think one of the other challenges with Superman is he is so powerful, and I know this will come up more in future episodes, but he is so powerful and so indestructible that sometimes it's hard to find ways of him being stopped. And Toyman certainly has fun gimmicks with using toys to attack, but a toy, no matter how big it is or how real the bullets are, is not much of a match for Superman. But I do like this use of this dopey dough and the way that he uses that, or at least the attempt that he uses this to bring down Superman, even though once again it's not much of a threat when Superman just spins and flings all this stuff off of him. But nice try, Toyman. Very nice effort.
Dopey dough is a lethal biogenic organism.
So when it comes time to rank this episode, I know there's only one other episode that it's up against, but this is really a great introduction of the Toyman and of any villain for the reasons that it kind of lays out this mystery and you don't quite know where the Toyman came from until towards the end of it. I have it being seated at the #1 spot of my favorite episodes between these two, but it does beat out the first episode because of the way that they roll this mystery out. I really enjoy that and the gimmick of the Toyman, telling an origin story of a villain without blatantly telling an origin story. So it's really a great introduction to one of Superman's villains.
You think you got me, but I still get a free game.
What are some of your favorite gimmicks of the Toyman being able to use toys to fight Superman? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to click the like button if you want to see more episodes like this. We're reviewing each and every episode of Superman the Animated Series, so if you're a fan, be sure to hit the subscribe button because we have new episodes that are coming out every Tuesday and Thursday, and our next episode will be a little piece of home, so you don't want to miss that. As always, I'm Andy Knode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.